that was a pretty cool moment. Just to hear you know that you took the time to just kind of reach out to me after reading this book and to kind of share your heart. Can you give me a little bit of background on how you got the book and what kind of inspired you to dig into it?
Well, I've been fairly close with a guy named Todd Blackledge, a former great player at Penn State, national champ, and we shared some thoughts. And one day he said, I got a book for you. He's a high school basketball coach in the off season, and he handed me the book, and I started reading it, and I couldn't put it down. It was one of those books that I finished in a day or two, and I was making the trip to Stanford to meet with Andrew Luck, and I finished the book on the plane, and it hit me real hard.
Talk about these characters and what about them kind of jumped out at you.
Well, if you put on that book that that's a real life story, everybody would buy it, because that is real life. That's every one of those characters, from Joe to Coach Rocker to Grant. What hit me is I know those people. I mean, I can go shake hands with Joe and know exactly who he is, and I can look in the mirror and see Coach Rocker. I can go shake hands with some friends that have had some turmoil in their life as far as the business family, and that's the Grant. And so that's the thing that I'm not sure I've ever read a book where I was in that book.
What are your thoughts on who needs to read this book that can be most impacted by it?
Who should read it? That's probably, I'm a little biased. Everybody should read that. And I've told people, Shelly, my wife, is going to read it, and my son's going to read it. There's no question. And it's not a sports book. It's a book about people, but it goes back to the two questions that we talked about, the purpose and relationship. And at the end of the day, whether you're a doctor, lawyer, or teacher, whatever you are, at the end of the day, if you can ask yourself why, and probably the hardest part is, and be honest with your answer, not just why and then some frivolous answer. This is all between yourself. If you can ask that question why, and it comes back pure form, then you're doing the right thing. If you got a little confusion about that, then you better reevaluate. And that's what that book makes you do, is reevaluate.